And welcome back to episode 10 of the Quiet Man series. You'll have seen and heard at the end of chapter 9 that I was emigrating and I'm about to become an alien. Well, that happened in the autumn of 1983, and the emigration process itself was quite torturous, but we finally got there. And the end of October, we finally flew out. Now, I don't know if any of you have ever been to the northern part of the USA or Canada, but the winters are like a body shock. I remember going to Norway years ago, icicles up the nose. It was literally a body shock. Rivers freeze over, the lakes freeze over. You can drive on the rivers and lakes, it's that cold. So, there I am in North Dakota. Now, what's the chances of a marine engineer getting a job in Grand Forks, North Dakota, which is the potato capital of the world? Not much. And also, there was a recession on. But I did what I had to do. I got my social security number. I put myself out there. I started building grain silos. I moved furniture. I answered a blind ad and I found myself selling Kirby vacuum cleaners door to door in North Dakota in the winter. I can remember this one day. I knocked on the door, a place called Grafton in North Dakota, and I didn't manage to sell the chap a vacuum cleaner, but I left with a little brochure. It was an essay by Albert Gray called The Common Denominator of Success. And I was so disgusted, I just threw it on the front seat of the car and drove off, didn't even give it a thought. The next day, I decided to go the other side of the river and I went into Minnesota. I ended up in a place called Red Lake Falls and I knocked on the wrong door. I knocked on the local sheriff's door and he actually ran me out of town for daring to solicit and try and sell door to door without a permit. I kept my head in my hands and at the corner of my eye I saw this little brochure that the chap in Grafton had given me the day before. I started reading it and it just hit me between the eyes. The common denominator of success, according to Albert Gray, is that successful people do the things that failures don't like to do. I let that sink in for a while. And then I just drove on and I ended up in Thief River Falls. I sold 3 vacuum cleaners on the bounce. Boom, happy days. I got quite good at selling vacuum cleaners and I ended up winning some competitions. On the flight back from Las Vegas, I decided if I'm pretty good at this selling lark, why don't I combine it with my engineering skills? Took a week out and ended up in the University of North Dakota library, started researching manufacturers. Because think about it, I was an engineer, I had a degree in engineering, I'd worked on all kinds of equipment when I was on the ships, so I started looking for the manufacturers of said equipment. And pretty soon I found these 3 companies, York, Carrier and Train, and they made massive plant for air conditioning and refrigeration. I'd been sending speculative letters off. And then I found a marketing magazine, and in it there was an article on this chap called Josh Cassell, the national sales manager of York International. I looked at it and I quite liked what he said, so I wrote him a letter. Dear Mr. Costell, I would imagine by now you've seen my CV, my resume. I just want to bring mine to the top of the heap because I liked what you said. Any advice you can give me on getting a position with York will be gratefully received. And I sent it off. Very, very speculative. He was on the phone by the end of the week asking me to come for an interview. I thought to myself, I've got a foot in the door here. And the interview process with York started. But what had precipitated that initiative of me reaching out to Josh Costell? It was that pamphlet, The Common Denominator of Success. And the line, successful people do the things that failures don't like to do. That is about willpower. And I will write a lot more on this in the years to come because this was a very, very profound lesson for me. It's a bit like pull your own socks up or Norman Tebbit saying, get on your bike. Do the things that failures don't like to do and success will come. And that comes down to an individual sense of willpower. That is the lesson of chapter 10. And it took me going to the States, becoming an alien, and selling vacuum cleaners in the winter in North Dakota for that lesson to come home. And I'll be forever grateful for that. Because if it's hard, some good will come from it. I'm going to leave it there. I look forward to continuing these lessons and in the chapters to come. If you've liked this, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, share it, comment on it. Please, I'm looking for feedback. And yes, I look forward to talking to you again in chapter 11. Thank you.